Yes, for Billy and Betty have heard so much about their capital city, how it nestles in the Colorado River Valley, and their eyes shine brightly as they see the clean white buildings reflecting the warm sunlight. Let's meet these folks, for they represent the hundreds of families who make Austin their home every year. They might even be you. This is Betty Smith and her mother. Betty can hardly wait to make new friends at high school. Billy and his dad are real pals, and they have been talking about fishing trips on the lakes and so many other adventures ahead. Well, it's been a long, hard drive, and no one is more glad than Father as he wipes the sweat from his brow. Everybody lend a hand to get unloaded. Oops, well, you almost made it, and we know just how you feel. Within a month after their arrival, other new folks in Austin are given a cordial reception by the Austin Chamber of Commerce. Best of all, they get a big sack full of Austin products that is welcome in anybody's pantry. The chairman makes everyone feel right at home, and then he asks you just to relax for an interesting picture trip around the city. Off go the lights, and a picture of the magnificent state capitol building flashes on the screen. This structure, central landmark of the city, was completed in 1888 out of native Texas granite. Lacking cash, the state paid for it with 3 million acres of public land. What a thrill for the Smith family as they are warmly greeted by the governor himself. And Billy's breath almost stopped as the governor's 10-gallon hat was placed upon his head. From the central arch of the Capitol, looking south, you see Congress Avenue, central business thoroughfare, and the principal business section of the city. The governor's mansion, lovely example of the true lines of the southern colonial home, has been the home of every Texas governor since 1853. Many visitors daily explore the interior of the mansion, which contains numerous articles of great historical interest. Chief among these is undoubtedly the Sam Houston bed, slept in by the great patriot and statesman of Texas history. There now, for Billy the temptation is just too great, but his watchful sister knows what to do. As a seat of state government, Austin has a number of state buildings, inasmuch as the Capitol long ago was outgrown. The State Highway Building is the nerve center for the construction and maintenance of Texas highways. The Walton Building at one time was the county courthouse, but was converted to the use of several state departments. The State Office Building provides space from several major departments of the state government. The State Health Department recently moved into these spacious new quarters, where they can more adequately serve the health needs of the state. For example, this traveling dental unit makes dental care possible in areas where it would otherwise be lacking. Other types of traveling units, together with the most modern methods of treatment, bring better health to the people within our far-flung boundaries. Of particular interest is the treatment for rabies. Serum is being constantly prepared by the state laboratory, and this pasture treatment has saved a great many lives in the past. Also, the laboratory receives and analyzes thousands of samples from over the state. Your Uncle Sam lives here. The federal building provides working space for the Internal Revenue Department, the federal court, and other departments. The municipal building is a pleasing example of a modern city hall, quite in keeping with the city government, which has since 1928 operated on a cash basis. Brackenridge Hospital, municipally owned and operated, is equipped with the finest materials. The county courthouse is likewise an attractive governmental building. Its design, including the jail on the very top, is adequate for all units of the county government. It is constructed of a type of shellstone quarried in Travis County. To satisfy their natural curiosity, our youngsters are probing the embedded fossils of a prehistoric age. You'll be writing letters, of course, to all the folks, so you must recognize the post office when you see it. Courtesy boxes are mighty handy for posting letters when you're driving by. Just before the turn of the century, there lived in Austin a very wonderful artist, Elizabeth May. Her imagination unfettered by limitations of time and space, she lived and worked here, and her sculpture is displayed in European capitals and in our national capital. Billy and Betty feel the air of old-world mystery as they enter the museum. Before the statues marked Prometheus Bound, Schopenhauer, Albert Sidney Johnston, Lady Macbeth, and many others, visitors stand with bated breath, as though the warmth of life should suddenly come to this cold marble. These and many other art treasures in the May Museum have made it a shrine for art lovers. The Austin Women's Club, home of Austin Club Women, is an unusual place that has a definite spot in the architectural album of the city. Patterned after a French chateau, its rugged masonry, powerful buttresses, descending terraces, and elaborate interiors make it one of Austin's showplaces. The Texas Federation of Women's Clubs occupies its pretty colonial home at 24th and San Gabriel Streets. Designed to serve the needs of visiting club women from over the state, as well as providing beautiful reception parlors and auditoriums for local use, the building is certainly an enhancement to the beauty of the city. The past is dead, but it lives again in our museums. Texas under 6 flags, the glorious days of the Republic, the days of early statehood and pioneers, those periods of history we revere and cherish. In the old land office, historic in its own right, are 2 museums, the Daughters of the Confederacy and Daughters of the Republic of Texas. Just to see and touch the actual desk where the great O. Henry worked in the old land office and illustrated maps with his deft pen is something we'll never forget. In the state cemetery, often called the Arlington of Texas, lie buried nearly 2,000 Confederate dead and numerous Texas patriots, heroes, and statesmen. Albert Sidney Johnston, Confederate general who fell at Shiloh, was memorialized in marble by Elizabeth May. Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas and for whom our city is named, lies here. The French legation was built by France over 100 years ago as a home for her ambassador to the old Republic of Texas. The lumber came from Bastrop, the furniture and hardware by sailing ship across the ocean. Experts say, and who will dispute them, that the treaty oak is over 500 years old and was an acorn when Columbus discovered America. Its branches spread 126 feet from side to side. What a swell place for taking pictures or just having fun. What now? Well, this time it's Dad who does the chasing, and we'll wager somebody will get his trousers torn. William Sidney Porter, or O. Henry, as the world knows one of its best-loved short story writers, lived and loved in this modest little cottage, which is now the O. Henry Museum, containing many of his personal belongings. His dictionary, well worn by constant thumbing, gave him the wonderful vocabulary that gives his stories their sparkle and life. Father studies carefully an old original copy of the Rolling Stone, O. Henry's famous newspaper. The Texas Memorial Museum belongs to every citizen of Texas. Located on the university campus, it contains marvelous collections of biographical, historical, and archaeological texana. Here is preserved in modern fashion the past, so the curious eyes of future generations may see. Here is exhibited the famous gavel collection of former Vice President John Nance Garner. Billy and Betty enjoy the contrast between the largest and smallest gavels in the collection. Recreated from the days when prehistoric monsters roamed the plains of a wild country, this skeleton holds little fear for Billy. The Austin Senior High School is a community in itself, where nearly 3,000 students are taught by the best methods and equipment. Safety patrols, organized by the Chamber of Commerce, have prevented any major traffic accident at public schools in the city. The University Junior High School is operated in cooperation with the University of Texas. Whoa there, Billy, you're late. Better hurry, or you'll be detained after school. Kids really have fun, as well as learning plenty at the elementary school, such as this one. Who knows but a future president may be playing leapfrog here. St. Edward's University, the Notre Dame of the South, is a Catholic university for men, which has for years enjoyed a splendid record among major educational institutions of the South. During the war, it not only maintained its curriculum, but devoted much time to military instruction. St. Mary's Academy, a Catholic school for girls, occupies a lofty site that was once the home of Mirabeau V. Lamar, the first president of the Republic. Concordia College teaches young men to prepare for Lutheran ministry under a fine staff of instructors. This is the chapel of the Presbyterian Theological Seminary, a long-established training center of the Presbyterian Church. The second major landmark of Austin, and one that is dear to the heart of every Texan, is the University of Texas Library Building, or the Tower, as it is usually called. It is the heart of that great school which ranks among the top 10 of the nation, whose graduates have become leaders over the world. The rare book collections in the library, containing thousands of priceless first editions and manuscripts, are read and studied by scholars from all nations. Safely kept under lock and key is the Plymouth Bible, which came over with the Pilgrims, and you can see the sketch of the Mayflower made on its margin. From the flower-decked balcony adjacent to the Stark Library, the city appears wrapped in a veil of sunlight. But let us go up to the very top of the tower, 300 feet above the ground, where the massive tower bells ring out the time. Here the feeling is one of loftiness, or riding on a cloud, as the panorama of scenery unfolds to us in all directions. Billy and Betty hadn't been here very long before they wanted to know all about those odd lights. Those tower lights everywhere. They're just like moonlight, Billy remarked. And to his surprise, he found that Austin people have been saying that very thing for years. It's moonlight every night in Austin. It's an interesting story, too, and these tower lights, 29 of them, 150 feet high, have lighted the city for 50 years, from the time she was a little pioneer village until now. Austin folks love them, and so far as we know, no other city in the world has them. They add a fascinating, enchanting sparkle to the city at night when travelers approach. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Built on this cornerstone, Austin has prospered as a Christian community. 94 white and 44 colored churches of every denomination serve the spiritual needs of her citizens. There is equal opportunity for old and young, rich and poor, to worship with that freedom on which our country was founded. St. David's Episcopal Church is said to be the oldest standing church in Texas except the missions. Would you believe that this was once a cow pasture? Under a program of civic improvement, it was changed into East Avenue, a pleasure to the eye and a major north-south thoroughfare. Austin is grateful for the privilege of having here the state eleemosynary institutions, where you and I help care for our unfortunate brethren. The Austin State Hospital cares for adults who are mentally deficient. 85% of the blind children of the state receive instruction at the Texas School for the Blind, where they are taught from kindergarten through high school age various trades and occupations to make them free from dependence upon society and able to make their own living. Many of the articles produced by these blind children are of exceptional beauty and value. And the cakes these girls can bake, oh boy. Would you guess that these boys are skating in darkness, yet having a swell time? The state school, where mentally deficient children are cared for and educated, is a model of its kind. Another example of Austin's many lovely thoroughfares is West 15th Street. Such parked areas are always kept in excellent appearance. The Texas School for the Deaf, among the largest of its kind in the nation, specializes in teaching the latest methods to its students. With the university library, the state library, and the public library which you see here, Austin is far better equipped than most cities are. The public library, with its comfortable reading rooms and home-like atmosphere and well-filled shelves, is a standing invitation in itself to the entire family. Membership cards are a mere formality, and then it doesn't take long for father and mother and sister and brother to find books to their liking. What every community needs for the rest and relaxation of its folks, is plenty of playgrounds. Deep Eddy, this wonderful swimming pool, is only one of 13 parks and playgrounds scattered over the entire city, where play is supervised all summer by top-notch recreation department leaders, where community nights and games bring out hidden talent, and playground equipment develops sturdy muscles and healthy bodies and reduces juvenile delinquency to a minimum. The municipal golf course is one of 3 fine courses in the city. Golfing weather is prevalent almost the year round, and the beautiful slopes and greens keep their restful color even through the winter. Well, Father, it was a good try. Ah, he made it. Center of sports for the Southwest is Texas Memorial Stadium, where huge crowds gather each fall to watch hard-fought, brilliant games between the University of Texas and leading teams of the Southwest and of the nation. Texas Cowboys and other campus pep organizations add color and fire to the games. Do you like square dancing or ballroom dancing or tennis or volleyball or baseball or gymnastics? All these and many more are offered to you by the City Recreation Department at the Austin Athletic Club. Daddy of them all, 340-acre Zilker Park is about everything you could wish for. River drives, walks, flowers, scores of picnic tables and barbecue pits tucked away in secluded spots, Boy and Girl Scout huts, sunshine camp, police target range, skeet field, casting pool, baseball park, and well, just something to suit everyone's taste. Today's a nice day for a picnic, so let's walk along the lily ponds, down the rock steps, and spread our lunch under the sheltering branch of a big oak tree. A ham sandwich always tastes better from the picnic basket than it does at home, doesn't it? Zilker Springs in the fall and winter is like one of nature's lovely paintings. Although bordered by man's walks and walls, the natural spring waters reflect the soft colors of the smooth slopes and terraces. 17 million gallons of pure cold spring water flow through these outlets every day and thereby create Austin's most popular swimming pool. In the good old summertime, we all go out to the park, and in less time than it takes to tell it, we're swimming around in that grand old pool. Forgotten are the worries of the day and the temperature. We're floating around, happy, refreshed, and developing an enormous appetite for that picnic lunch waiting up on the hill. And no matter how many folks are in, there never seems to be a crowd, for the pool is so very large that there's plenty of room for everybody. On Thursday and Sunday nights during the summer, 5,000 folks gather on a hillside in the park, under the stars, to enjoy band concerts, programs, and community singing. The hills west of Austin are a web of interesting scenic routes. Suppose we drive through the park and visit the great dams and lakes within 50 miles of Austin on the Colorado River. Buchanan Lake is one of the largest freshwater lakes in the United States, and the dam that creates it is 2 miles long. This is just one section of the many floodgates that are a part of the dam. Just below Buchanan Lake is Inks Lake, a placid 3-mile body of water that is used principally for power generating purposes. Marble Falls Dam has for years been a favorite spot for fishermen and sportsmen. The turbulent waters rushing for a mile over jagged rocks are a beautiful spectacle. Mansfield Dam, creating Lake Travis, is the largest in the series of dams in central Texas. These dams were built for a threefold purpose: conserving floodwaters for irrigation in times of drought, controlling devastating floods, and producing low-cost electricity. In all of these, they have been highly successful. Lake Travis is 65 miles long and 8 miles wide. And thus we come to the end of our ride on the magic carpet of photography. As the day draws to a swift close, you survey the beauty of Lake Austin, which winds for 22 miles past breathtaking scenery.
Oh, beautiful, forsake your dream that we
Then ride up the flower-bordered drive of Mount Bonnell.
thine alabaster city gleam, undimmed by human tears.
As this friendly city glows in the light of the setting sun, you feel that it was always intended for Austin to be your permanent home.